Welcome to Jolly Pond Farm. My name is Micah. Come on inside. We've got 1 acre fenced in. Here's this snarf. Like I was saying, we have 1 acre fenced in. Originally, this was all grapes. We had over 200 varieties of grapes. Currently, right now, we've got blackberries. We've kept 1 row. This is our pollinator row, all natural, native plants also. And we try to keep a lot of flowers around here, bring in beneficial bugs, and keep the pest population down. And this right here is a hugula culture bed. This you put down wood from the wood, so you take sticks and twigs and everything else, layer it down, and then you put down a layer of manure or wood chips, and then another layer of manure or wood chips, leaves. Basically, you just layer a bunch of things up, and it'll be a self-wicking bed over time as everything breaks down. This is first year we did it. We got some sweet potatoes in here and some peppers. And then these are some of our grapes that we got. These are all local grapes, breeded from the woods. These are our blueberry bushes, and this has been the first year that we've been doing Korea National Farming Techniques. And the first year, well, for previous years, we could barely get a handful of blueberries off of each of these bushes. And since we've converted to making our own nutrients and using what we got on the land to feed these plants, I was pulling gallons a day off of just these few blueberries this year. So it was a huge improvement over just normal organic stuff. Trying to go beyond organic methods has really paid off in the first year. We have inside the fence to keep the deer out, because they're kind of crazy. There's a lot of them out here. So we did a little test plot outside the fence where we plowed it up more of a conventional way over no-till, which is what we are going after. And we'll convert this area to no-till next year. And it did all right. There was no water given to it all year, no amendments, just kind of left it as is and let nature take over. Wanted to see what hemp was capable of on its own. And the result is mediocre at best. Now we'll take y'all over to the no-till raised beds that has a varying degree of amendments that we use. We used leaf mulch from the woods, horse manure, hay, which was cut down from our field, which stretched about 1,182 feet as a organic mulch. And then we got a lot of wood chips that are mixed with leaves, and that's what we're using as our mulches out here. And the wood chips have completely suppressed all the weeds. No Johnson grass, no wiregrass that's growing through it. It's just done an absolute great job. We mow the rows, which our cover crop on the rows is clover and rye mainly, with a couple common weeds. We've got 3 different varieties. We're growing Box, Cherry Mom, and Auto Sweetened this year. All of these plants were planted back in May, the end of May to June 1st. This variety is Box right here. And we did clones from solo cups and yeah, put them in the ground. We started all of our clones in our hoop house back in the beginning of April is when we started moving into the hoop house, when we didn't need any heat any longer. We kept all of our little plants alive in the little greenhouse over here with a wood stove. Had no problem heating that up, keeping it 70 degrees, even though when it was like 10 degrees outside. We've been making our own compost. We locally source horse manure from a great place. They really take care of their They're horses, and we know everything that's going into it. And then we get our local wood chips and mix it up together. This is about a year process, takes to break down. So we've been growing loofahs for about 9 years now. They're all open pollinated. We save our own seed year to year, and we grow them along the fence line and in different areas of the property. The loofah is just an unbelievable natural sponge. It's actually in the cucumber family. It kind of looks like a gourd. It's a vine. It's pretty much indestructible. It's mold resistant, it's pest resistant, and it's drought resistant. It is one of nature's greatest plants, and we absolutely just love growing it from year to year. We have plenty of seed to share with everybody, and we're gonna have plenty of sponges too. These are a couple more of the loofahs. As you can tell, they'll get pretty big. They actually have a male and a female flower. The female flowers will come out just a little bit, and then the male flowers are the ones that you'll see sticking out all over the place. There's very few female flowers that come out on the plant, but you'll see tons and tons of male flowers all the time. One plant could give you as little as 1 loofah, or you could get as many as like 15, and then sometimes they'll kind of bunch up like this. Sure, you'll get like a whole set of them together. And you really want to wait until they start to turn yellow to harvest them, which we can take you down here and we'll show you one of those. So this is like a perfect loofah to harvest. This is when they start turning yellow, and when they start turning brown, it's a little bit too far. But you really want to get it when it's yellow. And the best way to harvest these things is just throw it on the ground, crack the skin, open it up, and then you're left with the sponge. It's got a lot of seeds in it. When they're super dark and black, that's when you know they're really, really viable. You could plant these things in the ground and get you a sponge next year. The only other thing you gotta do once it's at this point, just take some water and spray the crap out of it and clean it off, and then sun dry it, and you'll have the best natural sponge. It'll make your skin so soft, unlike any plastic crap out there. So I make a lot of my own nutrients, and one of the things I make is photosynthetic bacteria, and I use the pond water and then egg yolk and either fish emulsion or fish amino acids to culture this bacteria from the pond water. And when you're done, you'll get this crimson looking input, and I'll typically mix about 1,000 to 1,500 milliliters of this with a 55-gallon barrel. We'll do root drenches and foliar sprays. I'm going to be doing this later, so I'll drop some in there. And then also I make bokashi. So this is made with effective microorganisms and wheat bran. And this is an excellent source for the microbes. It'll help soil life immensely, create streptomyces, and help the microbes nutrient cycle the nutrients. And then also I make flower power, which this is where I take just whatever I have out here that's flowering fruit and mix it together, put it in a 5-gallon bucket with lactobacillus and let it ferment for 3 weeks. And then you take this and just mix it back with some water and do some root drenches. This has already been strained, so all the fruit I left in another 5-gallon bucket and letting it ferment again. We also use yucca. This is just a plant that grows in the woods out there. This really helps as a wetting agent for all the plants. Do about 30 milliliters per gallon. You can check out jollypondhemp.com, and I go over how to make yucca extract, flower power, and all different kinds of nutrients and inputs. this is our natural spring. We've got about 8 springs on the property, and they all feed our pond. It's delicious water. So I was talking about making a lot of our own nutrients. Fish amino acids is one of those things, which is just like fish emulsion, and you basically take live fish. Well, you catch fish, you mix the fish, chop it up, mix it with brown sugar, sit it in a bucket, and let it ferment for at least a month. It can be up to 2 years, and fish amino acids are just one of the most amazing and beneficial things that you can feed to the plants. And this is just an easy way that we catch them in the pond and chop them up, mix them with some brown sugar, and get some FAA.